Hey, you guys remember last week when I told you in the end of the video that I had an exciting announcement to make, but I didn't know when I could talk about it? Well, I'm going to talk about it right now. Bob, I'm trying to record a YouTube video. Good grief.
Hey there, thanks for turning down my road. If this is your first time here, my name's Carl. My little brother and I both work for local farmers full time, but we both also farm together with our cattle herd and our hay operation. If you don't have the joy of farming yourself, I'd love to help you experience it through this channel. Whatever your background, you found the right place. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch.
Why does this kind of stuff always have to take place right by a major highway? So I've got a box scraper full of Jell-O right now. I guess it's more like pudding, isn't it? Whew, tasty. So what we've been doing here is this farm has a couple of big waterways that help drain the water away from the field in the midst of a big rainstorm. And usually they're seeded down with grass to keep them from eroding away. But this one was in really bad shape and we had to have it torn up last fall and reshaped. And it was too cold to get it reseeded. So I've been using the box scraper to smooth it off really nice and kind of shape the bottom of it a little bit better. And today we're going to get the seeder out and put some grass seed in here so that hopefully it can get growing really nicely before we start to get our spring rains. And this jello-y looking substance that I've been scraping out of the bottom just now is kind of a deposit that got made by the spring snow melt this year. It melted pretty fast, and so we had some water coming down the middle of this waterway, and it brought a little silt and sediment with it and piled it up right at the bottom of the waterway. So I just had to scrape that back up and out into the field, and then we'll just kind of level that off with the chisel plow. But everything's looking pretty nice now. I think we're ready to go get the seeder and maybe let this dry just a little bit, but I think it's going to work pretty good today. All right, it's looking nice. Cole and I are going to keep plowing in some more of these felt strips to control erosion in the new waterway, and Josh is going to use the chisel to try to smooth out the rough edges. You brought your dirty pants for YouTube day?
You should have told me, Carl.
Cole.
What am I supposed to do?
Look at my new camera operator. Is she doing great or what? Nailing this cameraman gig, aren't you? Or camera woman, right? Well, I'm really happy with the way this day went. We've got all of the chisel plowing done that we can, leveled off all the dirt that they pulled up out of the waterway when they cleaned it out. We've got all the seeding done. It turned out really nice. And then we got all these felt strips laid in. Couldn't ask for more. We might get a little bit of rain tomorrow night and the next night. If we do, that'll be great because that'll help get this new grass seeding off to a good start. How do you find help that's not just always on their phone, huh?
I've been sitting here this whole time. I've been working hard. Can't take a little break.
I'm gonna go try to get a little cattle manure hauled out. I haven't been able to get any done yet this spring. Normally I like to do it when the ground is frozen. We didn't have any mid-February, bare ground frozen mornings. which is when I usually like to haul the manure. But I'm gonna try to get some out tonight and maybe tomorrow night. Man, this is the most fun I've had hauling manure in a long time. It's t-shirt weather, and look at that sunset behind me. Man, you don't really think about hauling manure being a beautiful experience, but just look. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I got really close to being done hauling cattle manure last night. I left one load here on the spreader. I'm gonna haul that out this morning. And then maybe got about 2 more loads to do. How many of you were unaware that I wear glasses / contacts? I guess the secret's out now, isn't it? We are going to have those 2 heifers at our house all summer in the little pastures. So I'm very happy to have this manure hauled out rather than to have it sitting in a big pile, you know, breeding flies and all sorts of disgusting things all summer long. Guess what, everybody? The planter and the planter tractor are back home. I won't be able to give you a full tour of the planter today because it's too windy outside and it's too dark in the shed. But take a look at this mean rig. Look at these monstrous saddle tanks on here. We can hold 1,000 gallons of liquid on the planter tractor now. We're going to be putting on nitrogen fertilizer as we plant corn this year with the planter. Like I say, it's kind of dark in the shed. I'm not going to pull it outside in the wind right now. You won't be able to hear me very well. But next week, I will show you what we put on the planter and what we're going to be able to do with it this year that we couldn't do. Bob, I'm trying to record a YouTube video. Good grief. Have a little patience. Hey, you guys remember last week when I told you in the end of the video that I had an exciting announcement to make, but I didn't know when I could talk about it? Well, I'm going to talk about it right now. There's been something in the works for the last few weeks that I have been hiding from you, and I apologize, but that's just the way it had to be until all the details were worked out. I have formed a partnership for the 2021 growing season with a company that I love, and that company is called Precision Planting. We're going to do some really cool content with them. We're going to show you some really neat things. We're going to try out some equipment on the planter this year that's not even available to purchase yet. That's one of the reasons that I want to get the planter out next week and show you what we've done to it, because there is some really sweet equipment that we put on that planter from Precision Planting. And like I say, one of the things you can't even get your hands on yet. It's totally experimental. So I can't wait to try that out, see how it's going to work. Another thing that I think you are going to be really excited to follow along with is we're going to be doing an emergence flagging test with our corn this year. In fact, I just got this kit in the mail. This is not the corn kit. This is the bean kit. I can tell because it's really heavy. This is the corn flagging kit. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this kit to track our emergence and to see what effect that has on the final product. Inside this kit is the instruction manual, and then we've got these 4 different colors of flags. So what we are going to do, we're going to go out as soon as the corn just threatens to poke through the ground. We're going to measure off a section of row, and on the very first day that we see corn plants emerging from the ground, we're going to put a little green flag next to each one of those corn plants. And then on the second day, we're going to put a blue flag next to the plants that emerge on that day. Day number 3, we'll put a yellow flag next to those plants, and day number 4, we'll put a red flag next to those. And then we will track those plants throughout the entire growing season. We will get to know them very well. And by the time harvest rolls around, we will look at the ear that is on each one of those corn stalks, and we'll be able to figure out what damage have we done by not having consistent emergence. I'm actually going to do 2 or 3 different trials. I'm going to purposely sabotage one of the rows so that the emergence is really bad, and then we'll be able to see how that compares to one of the rows that I'm trying to do everything absolutely right on. I'm very excited about this. Also included in the flagging kit is one of these cool little depth gauges. It's got your marks for your seed depth right there on here. It's made out of metal. Nice high quality item. You can keep this in the tractor and use this to dig your seeds up. You can get your very own emergence flagging kit from Precision Planting for absolutely free by visiting the link precisionplanting.com/Carl. So go ahead and do that right now. Just tell them what crop you're going to be planting. Like I said, this one is for corn, cotton, sunflowers. The other one is for soybeans, canola, sugar beets, peanuts. Really the only difference is it just has more flags in it because you're planting a higher population. I just think it's gonna be super cool to follow those plants all the way through the growing season and then get to the end and be able to look at the final product from each day of emergence and say, wow, if we could have got 1% more to emerge on the first day instead of the second or third day, what does that translate into for bushels? What does that translate into for dollars? Because let's face it, you've already bought all the seed, you've already paid rent on the land, all the costs are the same. A lot of times it's just taking a few extra steps while you're out there planting to check how you're doing and make adjustments as you need to do a better job. Because it really, really does make you more money to do everything right when you're planting the crop. Anyway, that's my big exciting announcement. I know I'm going to learn a lot this year, and I hope you guys are ready to learn a lot too. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you're going to enjoy all the videos throughout the rest of this year. I'm looking forward to everything we're going to do and all the awesome content I'm going to be able to bring you this year. Thanks for riding along this week. I'll see you next time.